questions. The board member, the board, what we did was we took the interview questions that have been asked publicly in prior situations, and we gave them to all of the applicants in advance so that they had time to think about the questions and formulate their answers and submit them to us in writing. That gave them more of a chance to share their perspectives, and the board members more of a chance to go through all of that information and decide who they thought was most qualified. So, thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent calendar. I have a motion to approve the consent calendar, items A through H. Moved by Mrs. Cullen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Walters. Questions or comments from board members? Oh, sorry. Seconded by Ms. Thompson. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0. Next up is the student liaison report.
The student council just had two wonderful events. We volunteered at the Gallery of the Arts in the middle of Percy, and it was a wonderful event. Got a great turnout. We just had pink out during the football game, and we sold shirts. We raised a lot of money. I'm not sure how much we've raised so far, but we'll know in the coming weeks. In the upcoming weeks, we will have homecoming, and our theme is the Wizard of Oz. So we will be having the parade, and we'll be having a float on there for the Wizard of Oz. The class picnics were supposed to be this week, but because of rain, they were canceled. So we'll have them next week. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up this upcoming year.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the President's Report. I just had one thing that I wanted to talk about tonight. Since our last board meeting, we have announced that a tentative 5-year agreement has been reached with the Pennridge Education Association. The PEA ratified the agreement with overwhelming support, and we will be voting on it this evening. A great deal of time, effort, and thoughtfulness is dedicated to this process by the board, PEA leadership, and the administration. I would like to personally thank fellow board members, Dr. Peter Yarnell and Mrs. Joan Cullen, our superintendent, and our entire cabinet, especially Mr. Dalbert, as well as Jim Valletta, Tim Dios, Jane Phillips, Jennifer May, and Bob Silver, and their representative, Dustin Mott. Our attorneys, Ryan Cassidy and John Nadler from Eckerd Siemens. We spent many long days and countless hours in meetings all through the summer, so I greatly appreciate all the time all of those people spent on this process. The good faith effort is a testament to the commitment of all involved to the success of our students here at Pennridge. This agreement highlights our ability and commitment to being fair to our teachers and our taxpayers at the same time. The long term of this agreement fits right in with our 6-year capital projects plan, providing stability and long-term fiscal management to the district while also assuring that financial stability to our teachers. The combination allows us to offer fair salary increases to the people working hands-on to educate our students without raising taxes or borrowing money for the foreseeable future. Some insurance offsets are in place that will carry over to the administration, as well as a prescription drug plan that offers better benefits to our teachers at a lower cost to the district. In addition to the financial piece, this agreement focuses on ways to improve support for our teachers in the classroom. Teachers at the elementary level will receive 25 minutes of planning, an additional 25 minutes of planning time, which is dispersed more equitably, allowing for an additional special for elementary students. This is also more in line with the secondary level. Student success is directly correlated to highly qualified teachers. With that in mind, a common theme in this agreement is prioritizing professional development and optimizing that time to provide the greatest benefit to our teachers and in turn our students. As with any negotiation, both sides have to give a little. Teachers were looking to have the ability to take advantage of some online opportunities in their coursework, and the administration wanted to limit options to accredited universities. The compromise is a vetted list of universities as well as a one-year employment requirement following any courses in order to qualify for the reimbursement. A few other highlights are incentivizing teaching a sixth section, which can reduce class sizes, and earlier retirement announcements to help the district plan more accurately for the budget and class sizes. Thank you again to everyone involved. It's a fair contract, and I'm excited to vote on it tonight. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Baines. First of all, I want to thank parents, students, teachers, staff, the administration, and the school board for a successful start to the school year. I love September and the positive energy that it brings when you're around all of the new things that happen in school, whether it be the students or the teachers and all the training opportunities. My favorite part of this job is being in the classrooms, and that's what September allows us to do, and getting to see the real work that happens, and the most important work that happens in the school district. I've also enjoyed experiencing the community of Pennridge through the many activities that have been taking place. I've said it before, but I continue to be impressed by the community that supports, the parents, the companies, and the other organizations that give to our school events. One simple example was the Bedminster Mud Run, that if truth be told, Ms. Baines-Clemens enjoyed it a little too much. But other than that, it involved participation from parents, teachers, the Plumstead Fire Company, the Tractor Supply Store, the Stone Depot, and Hellerich's Farm. That's an unusual list for our school events, and we often get to enjoy those events, but I wanted to also take time to appreciate the teamwork it takes to pull them off for our students and our families. My two main purposes for my superintendent's reports are going to continue to highlight student and staff celebrations, but also to provide an overview of instructional items for the community. Let me start with some student items. While many of the classmates spent their summer working or vacationing at the shore, junior Henry Leopold was halfway around the world, studying the Arabic language and immersing himself in the culture of Morocco. As far as we can tell through our investigation, Henry is the first Pennridge student ever to participate in the National Security Language Initiative for Youth, which is a United States State Department program. There were only 200 students chosen from over 3,300 applicants, and only 24 of them had the opportunity to go to Morocco. The aim of the program is to encourage students to learn a language that our country needs for security and diplomacy. Ultimately, these students will be able to act as citizen ambassadors on behalf of the United States government. During his 6 weeks in Morocco, Henry spent up to 6 hours a day studying Arabic and participating in civic and cultural projects, including visiting a refugee camp. As part of the group of these 24 students in Morocco, they traveled to Tangier, Marrakesh, Casablanca, and other cities. The group also traveled to a small town near the Sahara where they got to ride camels for more than an hour into the desert to sleep in the Sahara for a night. Henry said that was actually fun. At the conclusion of his classes, Henry made a 5-minute presentation completely in Arabic and in full native dress. He learned firsthand the power of language to create bonds of friendship, respect, and understanding across cultures. This experience has fueled Henry's interest in language and history, and he hopes that he can apply some of what he experienced to his AP World History class this year. Henry wasn't the only high school student to make good use of his time off during the summer. We also had 21 students who got to participate in the Pennsylvania Free Enterprise Week. It was our largest contingent in recent years and earned the school membership in the Distinguished Platinum Club. During Free Enterprise Week, incoming high school juniors and seniors get to experience a unique and challenging opportunity to see what it is like to run their own business. Participants create a management team whose task is turning their failing company into a financial success. They develop a marketing strategy, design a website, and in essence get to make all the decisions that are demanded of a real-life company executive. Please be watching our website in the near future for a story and a listing of those students who got to participate. Sticking with the theme of summer and recognizing some of our elementary school students, we had 4 students from West Rock Hill who successfully completed the Bucks County Free Library Summer Quest. which included 12 different activities through the month of July and August, including reading different kinds of books, writing poetry, writing a letter, watching a movie, and creating a game. I would now like to highlight a program at the high school and would invite Mr. Scott Ware, who is one of our special education supervisors, who is going to come and introduce the teacher and the students who will be presenting this evening. Mr. Ware?
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Bolton. My name is Scott Ware. I'm the high school special education supervisor. We are very proud of our life skills program at the high school. The students in the classroom range in age as our program includes grades 9 through 12, but students have the opportunity to participate until 21 years of age. Christine Fennell is our high school life skills teacher, and this is her second year in this role. This is Mrs. Fennell's 9th year as a teacher at Pennridge School District. Mrs. Fennell will be sharing a little bit about her program, and then some of her students will share some of their experiences in the life skills classroom.
Hi. So in the life skills program, we work on both the functional academics as well as living skills. We practice telling time on a clock to help follow the schedule. We work on counting money to practice dealing with customers and budgets. We also practice reading skills, following directions. These skills are important to practice because we use them in some of the jobs we do at school. For example, we use the Cricut machine at school to make greeting cards, banners, and projects for people in our community. Olivia is going to tell us about some more things that we do.
One job. One job we have to is run a coffee shop in our class. When teacher can buy coffee, tea, or hot chocolate.
So one job we do is run a coffee shop where teachers can buy coffee, tea, or hot chocolate. Faith is going to talk a little bit more.
We, every every summer in the only period of my school days.
So we even offer a delivery service in the early periods of the school day.
Well, we practicing counting money and making change when a customer buys something. You're welcome, Ms. Fennell. Woo, woo, woo.
We also have a market, a person, a child, a cold drink.
So we also have a market in the classroom with snacks and cold drinks.
Okay. Another job we do is laundry. We help wash, dye food, and deliver towels and bedding to your athletic team and your schoolmates.
So another job we do is laundry. We help wash, dry, fold, and deliver towels and bedding to the athletic trainer and the school nurse. We also have students that go out to work rotations through the Bucks County IU. Some of those job sites include Doylestown Hospital, Ivy Hill Equestrian, Landis, and we also have somebody out at Calvary Church right now. And then we also do some work within the school building. So we have what we just call the egg job, where a local farmer brings in his eggs and we weigh them, we clean them, we sort them. And then we also do the cricketing for district office as well. So that's basically some of the things that we do in our program. Thank you very much for supporting it.
Good job. Thank you all for sharing the great things you're doing in the classroom.
And I'll take a large black regular. Little did I know I only had to walk 10 steps. Okay. I thought Dunkin' Donuts was close. All right. Another highlight of the first month has been the professional development that is provided to our teachers and staff. I've been able to witness sessions on school safety, writing programs, classroom management, IEP writing, and successful communications. I want to take the opportunity to publicly thank Dr. Scheid, Dr. Price, Dr. Wyerka, our supervisors, and our building administrators for their hard work to help both our teachers and support staff continue to improve their work on behalf of our students. I've asked Dr. Scheid and Dr. Price tonight to provide a brief snapshot of the many opportunities we provide to both teachers and support staff. Dr. Scheid, Dr. Price, thank you.
Good evening. Dr. Price and I are happy to report out on the professional learning in Pennridge School District. First of all, okay. We've been working a lot on the professional development program at Pennridge for the last few years. What we really believe, and it certainly has made an impact on professional learning here, is that it should be personalized for our teachers. There should be voice and choice. Teachers should have a say in professional learning. And that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. We're going to be talking about the personalization of professional learning, and then we're going to be talking continuously about growth and improvement for not only our students, because we expect continuous improvement from our students, and we also expect continuous improvement from ourselves and our staff. So we're going to begin tonight with the beginning of the school year that Dr. Bolton has talked about with new teacher induction, and Dr. Price will lead with that.
Thank you, Dr. Scheid. And we have been busy, as in all the presenters so far this year. I wanted to start by just explaining a little bit of the difference if we get a new teacher to the district that's been teaching for several years versus a teacher that's brand new to the profession. So on the slide up here, you can see the purpose of our program is really to introduce new staff that have never taught before to the profession and to develop their bag of tricks, their skill set. But we also have that group of teachers that are new to Pennridge, and so they've been through induction, but they need the new teacher orientation days. So we have those groups of teachers together at the beginning of the year for a couple sessions in August, and then the rest of the school year, it's just a group of teachers that require induction. And of course, as you'll hear from Dr. Scheid, any teacher that needs support throughout the year gets that as needed. But I'm going to focus on just the new teachers here. So this really fits into our professional learning model of continuous improvement. And you'll see on the slide here a list of lots of things that are planned. These are the topics for this year. Some of these have already been completed. For instance, new staff received ALICE training, the classroom scenario piece, as well as the online training piece. They've received a session on classroom management. They received the library and technology session. They received some information about educator effectiveness and how the supervision looks at Pennridge School District. They also, in addition to all of this stuff that's happening, remember they're getting all of this above and beyond all the professional learning that all the other staff get. So this is in addition to. They also get assigned a mentor, and the mentor is with them logging hours and taking them and helping them through the induction program their first year at Pennridge. And this program, the induction program, is also required for their Level 2 certificate. So it's one of the requirements to obtain their Level 2 certificate. In addition to all these things, this year for the first time, probably in a long time, we've offered a bus tour. So we had a group of those new staff members go around from building to building, and we were greeted the last building by the Bedminster mascot and also the teachers out there, so you might have saw those photos on the website. Speaking of photos, this is a good example of how we differentiate these sessions as well. And so our elementary group in the photos up here, we're receiving some technology training on applications such as Seesaw, while our secondary teachers received Canvas training. Later this year, January 31st is one of the sessions that comes to mind. We are going to, speaking of differentiating and giving people what they need, our last session, we haven't determined a topic yet, because what we want to do is get to know this group of new staff members and see what their needs are and speak with them and observe them and talk through what they need. And that's kind of what's happening right now as well. We just finished up a technology session, and we are offering one-on-one time. Again, this can happen anytime, but we're planning this to be purposeful, one-on-one, an hour with a tech integrator based on a topic of their choice. So our technology integrators are setting those appointments up, and those sessions are happening as we speak.
And I will have to say that this is the first time that we're offering that 1 hour personal learning with a technology integrator. So we'll get some feedback from our teachers, but we do think that there'll be a positive impact on that. So I want to talk briefly about learning pathways. I mentioned that. When we were talking about in the curriculum office how we can meet the needs of our teachers, learning pathways was something that we talked a good deal about. What we wanted to do was not just personalize the training, although we absolutely believe that teachers should have that voice and choice. We wanted to make sure that what our teachers were learning throughout the year matched our goals, our district goals, our curriculum goals. So in ways that have become powerful, teachers have chosen paths of learning collaboratively. They are not individual learners, they are working with one another. They are not always chosen by our teachers. For example, one particular learning pathway has been for our new writing program, being a writer. So while we encourage our teachers to choose pathways, there have been and will be times that we develop the pathways with them in order to meet our curriculum and instruction goals. So here we thought it would be interesting for you to see some of the pathways that we've implemented this past year, actually. Exploring new art, meeting the needs of gifted students, social skills. You'll see that it isn't singular. It goes across all curricular areas, using technology for data collection and analysis. Best practices in writing. And we, again, being a writer, you see that up there, that was something that we provided for the teachers, but these other topics teachers thought of on their own because it matters to them. So they will continue to grow. There are pathways that were started last year that will continue this year. There'll be more pathways added to this year's sessions, and we are learning and growing together as a team. Another way that we provide professional learning is through blogging. Our technology integrators have created Thursday 3s for K-5 teachers and Friday 5s for 6-12 teachers. So on a weekly basis, our teachers receive these blogs, and they're short versions about topics that we have been using, our strategies that we're using, tools that we're using. It could be a quick video on how to use Seesaw. It could be an update on Canvas for Friday 5. So weekly, we provide that update for our teachers. And then what's really nice about that too is the teachers can go back and review that as necessary. Okay. Last year, and not just last year, over the past several years at the high school, we have had Ed Camp sessions. So Ed Camp is a really creative way to provide professional learning for our teachers. It's teacher-driven, it's administrator-driven. It is a topic that you feel comfortable about, that you would like to share with your colleagues. So they run maybe 15, 20-minute sessions, and this example is at the high school. So you literally decide that this is something that you would like to share with your colleagues, and you post your session. The rest of the staff look at a board and they see all the sessions, and then they choose 3 or 4 sessions that they want to attend during the day. So it offers that flexibility, and again, you'll hear personalization on what will most help me be effective in the classroom. Last summer, we actually had an escape the room in the elementary, for the elementary teachers, and it was really fun and fabulous. It was creative and innovative. It was a math escape room. I don't know, I think pretty much everybody knows what escape the rooms are, and you have to go through all the clues to get out of the room. And some of us got it out and some of us didn't. And I'll give credit to Joan Coleza, our STEM supervisor for the elementary level. She actually created that escape the room. But I do believe that was fun at the end of the year to celebrate with each other and learn with each other. And it's a great way to end the school year. And it really exemplifies problem solving. So we were problem solving, and they're the same things that we expect our teachers to do with our students. Our middle school STEM teachers, as we have developed this program, for the last 2 summers have been able to participate in really intense training at the Northampton Community College Fab Lab. So those teachers have taken the time over the summer, and you'll see the teachers in there from North, Central, and South, and they have taken intensive coursework to improve their skills to continue to make our STEM program exemplary. As you know, we have Canvas at the high school. It's fully implemented at the high school for students and teachers, and this year we moved into the middle school. What I wanted to bring to your attention is the tiered instruction that we have incorporated, and this instruction we have found works really well. Instead of a one-size-fits-all training for our teachers, we've done it in 3 tiers. So you could feel really comfortable. You may happen to know how to use Canvas. You can have your individual training. You can follow that training and do that training on your own. You could need some help. You could learn from a teacher colleague who has some training, and you can sit with a group of teachers and learn together. Or you can say, you know what, I really need one-on-one training. I really need to have the tech integrator right in front of me, and I need to learn from her, or I need to learn from him. So the teachers had an option, and we found that to be the most beneficial way for our teachers to learn Canvas, and not just Canvas, but any district-wide initiative that we put through. We do believe that the flexibility of tiered instruction has been the most beneficial to our teachers. And finally, for me, 21st Century Learning Night happens the Tuesday after Memorial Day. We are going into our 5th year. It's our 5th year anniversary this year. Just mark that on your calendars. This is such a fantastic night. It has grown tremendously, where all of the learning that we have done this year with our students and our staff and our administrators, we all come together and celebrate that and demonstrate that for the community. So I encourage you all to come out for our 5th annual one this year in May. I think Dr. Price is going to talk a little bit about what's trending now.
So we won't go through each of these just for time's sake, but we wanted you to see some of the things that staff are working on right now with students. If you hadn't had a chance to see these in action, these are some things that if you start this with your child at home, you can wrap up lots of hours. They're good summer activities. Dr. Scheid and I had a chance at the IU when the Ozobots were just becoming popular, and we learned to make these robots to program them to follow color. And it's in capturing for adults just like it is for students, that's for sure. But these are also other great examples of ways that we tie our mission statement and link it between our teachers and our students. An extension of our mission statement is for our students to become lifelong learners. And our continuous professional development for staff needs to connect to that. So we want our staff's professional development to be continuous and timely and ongoing as well, so we all together can grow and become lifelong learners.
Oh, can we go back to that really? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Just really quickly. I want to Peg Volak is in the audience, so I just want to, Peg Volek is one of our teachers, she's right here, and she started the Seesaw Social at Pennridge last year. So teachers from the county came to Pennridge to collaborate with ideas, and we have our next social here at Pennridge on October 6th, so thank you, Peg.
And we also don't want to forget talking about our support staff, and particularly the information here is for our TAs and our PCAs primarily. But our professional learning for them is based on these 10 standards that come from PDE. And I won't read them all to you, but you can see it's lots of the same topics and initiatives that we want our teachers to also have. The state requires 20 hours minimum for this group of staff members. Pennridge, we provide 5 days at this point. And we spread those days out. And right now, this year, there's 3 days that occurred in August. There's a day coming up on Columbus Day in October. And then January 28th is another day in the winter. So that's the 5 days this year. That's all I wanted to say about that. So just to kind of bring this together in our theme of lifelong learners, none of this would happen, none of this would be possible without some great presenters and planners. And Dr. Schein, I'm sure you want to touch on that.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone in the curriculum department, our supervisors and our coordinators and our technology integrators. But I really want to thank the teacher leaders. We have teacher leaders out here tonight. We have teacher leaders in our district who are phenomenal. They come out and share their expertise. They come and ask about STEM Camp, EDU, all kinds of opportunities. They want to learn more. They want to learn more and they want to share with each other. So thank you to the entire curriculum department and the teacher leaders of Pennridge School District. Thank you very much.
Dr. Scheid and Dr. Price, thank you very much for giving that brief overview of some of the wonderful things that have happened over the last month and a half here as we began school. It is just really important that we highlight that because one of our key missions is obviously hiring and maintaining and training quality teachers so that they can in turn impact all the students in their classroom. And so I wanted to the community to have a sense for how hard the supervisors and the teacher leaders have been working over the last month and a half as we begin a new school. So thank you for that. Finally, I want to provide 2 updates moving forward. One, I want to provide an update on the graduation survey that was discussed during the recent Activities Committee meeting earlier in the month. We are in the process of preparing an introductory video and survey that will be viewed by all high school students during their English class on October 3rd, so a week and a half from now. The video will provide answers to the students and to those questions that students may have when making their choice about where they want graduation to be held. The survey will then be made available to them in class that day, but will also remain open until October 12th for those students who need more time or who might be absent on October 3rd. The video will also be made available to parents, along with a survey that will also be sent out on the afternoon of October 3rd. The information from both students and parents will then be considered, and a recommendation will be made at the Activities Committee meeting on November 5th. Finally, I want to make an announcement that all board committee meetings will be returning to the board conference room, which is where those of you who have been here for a while, they have been held in the not-so-distant past. It is the building that's on the first, it's the room that's on the first floor of the district administrative offices beginning in October. Only the monthly board meetings will be continued to held in this space. That's being done primarily for 2 reasons. One, we are sitting in an academic space. The orchestra uses this. And so it eliminates those evenings that we need to break down and set up. It eats into their orchestra time as they help do that process last thing every day and then first thing tomorrow morning. It also will still provide an adequate space for both community members who would like to attend from that. So beginning in October, all of the board committee meetings will be held in the board conference room, and we'll announce that as we get close to the first one. The last part of the superintendent's report of the agenda is the donations, and I'd like to recognize them at this time. There were 3 in the past month. First is a donation of 100 earbuds with an approximate value of $500 that was from an anonymous source to Pennridge Central Middle School to be used in the STEM classrooms. Second is a donation from a graduate, an art piece from former Pennridge student Ryan Stricklaw to be displayed at the Pennridge High School. And last, we want to recognize a Good Samaritan, Reed Mitchell, who organized a GoFundMe account and received donations from 27 donors as far away as Colorado and California, which then enabled the paying off of the outstanding Pennridge School District lunch balances. So thank you to all of those individuals for their donations.
Thank you. And Dr. Price, several of us had the opportunity to go to Yardley, including Dr. Bolton, to see their glow room and the little robots tracing the colors. And then at the IU board meeting, the adults got to try it. Let me tell you, the kids at Yardley were much better at it than we adults were. So just throw that out there. Okay, the first committee report is the negotiating committee. Dr. Yarnell?
Thank you. Tonight represents the culmination of roughly 9 months of effort on the part of the negotiating committee, the board, and the association in reaching a collective bargaining agreement. That has been tentatively done. Assuming the board approves it tonight, it will be finalized. So I am going to make a motion that we approve the settlement agreement between the Pennridge Education Association, the PEA, and the Pennridge Board of School Directors effective July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2023.
Okay, motion by Dr. Yarnell. Do I have a second?
That's section.
Who's first?
Oh, we don't have it. We didn't have it.
Seconded by Mrs. Walters. Questions or comments from board members? No, nobody? All right, I'll add a couple comments, because I haven't commented enough already. The professional development and the learning pathways that Dr. Price and Dr. Scheid were just talking about, one of the advantages that we're going to see with this contract are being able to prioritize those learning pathways and giving our teachers more control over their professional development time so that it's more effective. So that's one of the great highlights too. And so perfect timing for sharing that and giving the public a little bit of a view of what the learning pathways, what those look like. So. The other thing I just wanted to mention, because there was a report that it was retroactive, and it's not actually retroactive when it starts July 1st, because their pay cycle is different. So their first workday at the beginning of the school year is actually on a different pay cycle, so it wasn't retroactive. So I just wanted to also point that out. Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to thank everybody that was on the negotiating team for all your hard work. This will be a great contract.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
I'd like to make a brief comment. I walked in obviously late to this process, and so want to add my thanks to both teams. This was an incredibly professional and positive process, which is not always the case. We're very fortunate in Pennridge that both sides had lots and lots of conversations about things, little and small and huge and great in the contract, and continue to do that. Professionally, continue to listen to each other, continue to have a process that really has created a fair contract, I think, both for the teachers and for the community. So I just really am appreciative of the number of hours and the conversations that both sides held, and want to thank both of the negotiating teams, both the Pennridge Educational Association negotiating team, names were mentioned earlier, as well as the board negotiating team. So thank you very, very much, and congratulations.
Okay, the next committee report is activities. Mrs. Cullen?
Thank you. We have just a couple of motions tonight. The first one is a motion to approve overnight trips for Pennridge High School and middle school teams and activities that may qualify for postseason competition/invitation that will require overnight stays and are recommended by the administration. And there are 7 of them listed there. That's the PIAA postseason competition, the music competitions, council conferences, technology student association competitions, the FBLA state competition, and then winter invitational tournaments for basketball, girls and boys, wrestling, and winter track. And the last one is other competitions as a result of competition/merit, so your state competitions. That's the motion.
That's a motion, okay. Moved by Mrs. Cullen, do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Kraus. Comments or questions from board members? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Sorry to read them all out, I just wasn't sure if everybody could see what they are. And the second motion is to approve an overnight trip request for Pennridge High School students to attend the FBLA State Leadership Workshop on Sunday, November 4th, 2018 to Monday, November 5th, 2018 at the Kalahari Resort in Pocono Manor, Pennsylvania.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Cullen, seconded by Mrs. Dolan. Questions or comments from board members? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
And our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 5th.
Thank you. And the next committee report is curriculum, Mrs. Cullen?
Thank you. We had discussion at the curriculum meeting about the AP Environmental Sciences textbook. And we originally were going to put it on this agenda, but between the time of that committee meeting and this meeting, the staff became aware of an ebook option. So to give students the most options for how they would like to learn, whether they want to use a textbook, a hard copy, or an ebook, do you want to have them both? We figured that it might be good to have discussion at the October curriculum committee meeting. Am I missing anything, Dr. Shai?
No, you are not, Mrs. Cullen. That's exactly right. We'll have that discussion hopefully at the next curriculum meeting in October. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 8th.
Thank you, Mrs. Cullen. The next committee report is facilities, Mrs. Dolan.
Sure, I have one motion this evening, and it's approval of obsolete items. They are transportation department, two-way radios to recycling, Grass Elementary School, TV, VCR, cart, desk to recycling, the high school various equipment, scrap metal, public surplus, Fowler Elementary textbooks to public surplus, Booth Elementary, library reading log, South Middle School, STEM equipment, scrap to public surplus, District Administrative Office, typewriter, calculator, recycling, public surplus, and Bedminster Elementary School various equipment to scrap metal. So I'll make a motion to approve from A through H.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Dolan. Do I have a second? Second. Seconded by Ms. Thompson. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Our next facilities meeting will be October the 9th.
Thank you. The next committee report is finance. I'll make a motion to approve contracts A through D. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Kraus. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. The next motion, I'll make a motion to approve the settlement agreement for student identified as 2019-07. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mrs. Walters. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. And our next meeting is on October 9th, which again will be in the other, in the district office in the old boardroom. And the next committee report is the intermediate unit. The IU board met on September 8th as well as October 16th. And there were just a few things I wanted to highlight. First of all, we have 2 pre-Ks, one at West Rock Hill Elementary and one at Diebler, and we still have a lot of open seats. So if you know anyone who has young kids who are looking to get into the pre-K class, have them apply. I believe, is there a link on our website? There was an email sent out today, and you can email us if you need any direct information, and it's also on the IU website. Also, we just passed the teacher contract at the IU at our last board meeting, and it was also ratified. It was passed unanimously by the board, and it was ratified with 95% of the teachers ratifying it. So that was great, and it's also a great fair contract. They have a website where you can purchase apparel that helps benefit the IU. So feel free to go on their website and get some apparel. They started an advocacy committee, which is made up of board members as well as administrators, superintendents, and cabinet members from all of the districts. And so the idea is to try to work together to advocate for different issues with education. We had a recent advocacy committee meeting and with a discussion on funding and increasing education funding and what that looks like. And obviously there's a lot of different opinions on the best avenue to get that money and the best way to fund education and getting more money from the state, and as well as the fact that in Bucks County we get back about 17 cents on the dollar when we send money, when we send money to the state and they give us money back. So definitely never a single right answer, but it's great to sit and have those discussions. And I think one of the things we're going to be talking about is charter school reform. I think is one of the topics that they're going to be looking at talking about in the future, as well as PSSAs. So important topics. There is $60 million available in funding to school districts for safety, and so that's something that each district should be applying for. The deadline to apply is October 12th, and just by applying, you're guaranteed to get $25,000. So that's a pretty good signing fee that you get. There was discussion of money. There's $52 million that are available, so we're not sure if that was overhead costs that dropped it from 60 to 52 because it started out as 60. There was discussion that they believe the legislature is going to be making a decision shortly regarding keystones, so it doesn't keep getting the buck doesn't keep getting passed on from year to year to year. So they're hoping that that's actually going to be a final decision, so that we don't have to keep preparing for it and then it changing every year. So we'll see, but we don't know if that's positive or negative. So I don't know what direction it's going. Just that they are hoping to make a decision on that. And another thing, the IU is working with all of our districts on a guidance plan. So they're working on a counseling plan and career prep plan for all of the districts. They're working hand in hand with our guidance department. So another great thing that the IU is working on. Next up is the Personnel Committee. Mrs. Walters.
All right, just a couple notes from our September 4th meeting. We discussed the requirements for teacher tenure and the names of 12 teachers being recommended. Dr. Bolton also discussed a provision in the support staff contract to allocate a pool of money to be used for employees who maintain certain certifications. And Dr. Bolton reviewed an updated job description for the Director of Operations position. And we also reviewed the state requirements for the tuberculosis testing for our district volunteers. So we have, I believe, 8 items up for approval. I'd like to make a motion to approve the revised organizational chart.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Walters. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Rice. Questions or comments from board members?
Yes. My experience in the past from the private sector is that organizational charts are always out of date. This one already is. I would note that the name of Mr. Loeffler should probably be omitted since he retired, I believe, effective Friday, and his replacement should be put in that particular slot.
Thank you, Dr. Yarnell. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, next item is a motion to approve removing the tuberculosis testing requirement for all volunteers, except for volunteer coaches and volunteers who have 10 or more hours of direct student contact each week.
Moved by Mrs. Walters. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Cullen. Questions or comments from board members? Okay, I just want to comment to let you know that this does not remove the option for the district to test at any time if there's any kind of exposure